What do most people do on their way to work? That's right, they are minding their business. This is exactly what I was doing myself on the sunny morning of an otherwise unspectacular Wednesday. I was minding my business while I was walking to the very modest office of my equally modest job in Nairobi, the capital of Kenya. I was 29 years old and working abroad for the first time. For me to reach the office, I had to pass along an open market. Now, marketplaces in Kenya are busy places. People go there looking for goods, for food, for a chat, for information, but also for work. Many unemployed and underemployed men and women gather as early as 4 or 5 a.m., hoping that someone will hire their labor for the day. If no one hires your labor, stress levels and anxiety rise, and those with a little cash left may start having a beer or two. So, as I was walking, still minding my business, I spotted a group of 3 young men. I had never seen them before. It was already 9 a.m., and obviously they had not been lucky today. Suddenly, one of them gets up, points at me and starts shouting, "Weh, Mzungu, your white skin is so ugly. You look like a pig. A white pig, ha ha ha!" My heart pounding, I went up to my office straight and without looking back. This, ladies and gentlemen, has been my first, last, and only encounter with something close enough to racism. What had happened, you may ask? Nothing really, right? It was random. It was a single occurrence. It certainly wasn't systemic or structural. It couldn't do what the real racism does to people. It couldn't ruin my confidence. It couldn't exclude me from spaces or ruin my career. Yet the feeling I experienced, now that was very real. People who knew nothing about me or my work took the liberty to assault me purely based on the color of my skin. It was this very feeling, not the knowledge of the concept, the feeling, that made me think for the first time in my life, what does this do to you if this happens to you every day, wherever you go? Fast forward by more than a decade. It is now the year 2022, and I live on the other side of the African continent in Ghana. I lead a team of local experts, all born and raised in Ghana with very solid education and certificates as high as doctorates. One of them asks for leave to attend the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Upon his return, I asked him, "So, how was it?" And he said, "It was great." I said, "Because of the football?" He said, "Yeah, the football was fine. But it was something else. I felt very welcome there, very accommodated." I got curious and asked, "How so?" And he said, there was always a welcoming committee, a very diverse one, made up of someone from Asia, Africa, Europe, an Emirati, men and women together, and they were welcoming you. It was very inclusive. I felt like they were expecting me. I was foreseen. And he went on to say, it is not easy to travel as a black man. People, they look at us differently than at you, the normal people. Yeah, you have not misheard it. He really said you, the normal people. A person born and raised in an African society with a solid education, in a society where no one looks or talks much different than yourself. Yet you feel that we, the whites, are normal and he is not. I was so confused by his choice of words, I had to consult this with an expert on racism, a Kenyan living in Switzerland. She explained to me that the norming culture, and please retain this phrase, the norming culture, the norm-setting culture, be it in science, literature, education, fashion, broadcasting, wherever you look, is so overwhelmingly Western and white that even people born and raised in Africa develop what is called internalized racism. A concept so strong, it even happened to the great Nelson Mandela. He describes in his memoirs that he was deeply shocked and appalled when he saw a white homeless person sorting through trash looking for food, while he was not at all shocked when he saw a black homeless person doing the very same thing. Internalized racism, let that sink in. Let's try how this must feel if you feel different, maybe lower, and somehow never good enough, wherever you go. My first point is that certain experiences you can only make if you live in a certain body. Whether you are perceived as a man or a woman or neither, whether your skin tone is darker or brighter, whether you have a visible physical condition, will shape the experiences you make. Because the world responds to you differently. Now, if you don't live in a certain type of body, you will simply forgo specific experiences and you will not know how they feel. For one, I was very unlikely to ever get assaulted based on the color of my skin. Today I know that, and I'm deeply grateful for the experience. I was a sad white pig for only a short while, but it has mattered a lot. It was that very experience, that very feeling, that has broadened my perspective and has made me see my own privilege, which was invisible to me before. My second and actual point is a question to you. Computers don't have bodies, right? So they can't make this type of interpersonal experiences I just talked about. So everything is fine, and we have reached the end of discrimination? I fear quite the opposite might be true. Almost everything today already runs on algorithms. Algorithms are programmed by humans. By whom exactly? Algorithms are trained to spot patterns in large sets of data. Data deeply flawed and biased because our world is deeply flawed and biased. Some go as far as to say algorithms are opinions embedded in code. Opinions embedded in code. Wow. We will never have 100% clean data. Sure, we try to mitigate the bias by aligning, for instance, large language models. Alignment being the process where the output of a model corresponds to human values. Now again, who sets those values? Who decides? And as I said, we will never be able to erase the past or have 100% clean data, but we have to acknowledge that we have highly problematic, high legacy data that are really over or under or misrepresenting fellow humans. My last point, the more we delegate to machine learning, the more we rely on all these digital means, the more we become mere consumers of these digital tools. And the less likely we are to understand who or what is behind. It feels very one-directional, doesn't it? And maybe there is not much we can do about it. There is, however, one thing all of us can do today. We can collectively agree that the experiences of others matter. We can all say, yes, I believe you. Let's try not to say, are you sure? Or you must be imagining things. Or my all-time favorite, you're being too sensitive. No, I'm not, you are not, they are not. It is their bodily reality, which might be different from yours. So in the midst of the AI and digitalization hype, let's all remember that we have bodies. They matter. Matter matters for our humanity, for our togetherness. Therefore, the real skill of the future is empathy. Let's celebrate this unique human ability, and let's all take a small portion of empathy home with us today. It is my only wish. Thank you.